Welcome back, operators, to another briefing of The Explainer. Today, we're bringing an intense, highly disciplined focus to the tactical standard operating procedure for field reconnaissance out in the San Juan Basin. Look, if you're operating under the order of the Iron Covenant, your primary duty isn't just to observe, it's to secure and protect the information you gather. We're looking directly at Masterclass Part 6 today, and we're specifically isolating the doctrines of field documentation and evidence integrity. Think of this explainer as your tactical training manual for transforming raw, chaotic field data into a completely undeniable institutional-grade record. Okay, let's dive into this. Our foundational doctrine here is actually pretty simple. If an event isn't documented and archived, well, it didn't happen. As operators, you have to realize this philosophy is your absolute defensive shield. We're operating in environments where uncovering anomalies or exposing industrial negligence can literally make you a target for institutional silencing. The camera and the microphone, they aren't just recording devices. They are tactical tools. They are the weapons you use to guarantee that your findings survive contact with municipal and state authorities who might really prefer those findings just disappear. So this brings us right to narrative security. Look, we are not out here making content or filming vlogs. That's not what we do. We deploy professional-grade multimedia to establish a completely bulletproof visual record. Why? Because when you're operating in the field and you uncover something critical, municipal authorities are going to try to dismiss you as an amateur. It's just what they do. Narrative security ensures that institutional silencing is mathematically impossible. Your documentation has to be so incredibly robust that the public and the powers that be simply cannot look away. For this briefing, we're going to cover the documentation philosophy, the operator's log, digital evidence protocols, maintaining chain of custody, and finally, after-action reports. Moving right into Section 1, the documentation philosophy, looking at the camera as a tactical weapon.
Every single operation you conduct is fundamentally about protecting the organization and yourself from liability. We turn raw data into a full investigative dossier. High production standards, they aren't about vanity, they are a very deliberate tactical maneuver. When you're uncovering serious industrial negligence or maybe significant historical anomalies out in the basin, raw, shaky cell phone footage is just so easily dismissed. But a highly polished, professionally produced dossier, there is no way they can ignore that. It demands attention. It forces the viewer and the authorities to actually engage with the data. All right, Section 2, the operator's log, specifically objective field capture.
So the crucial point is that every single frame you capture has to serve a strict evidentiary purpose. Step 1, capture clear, stabilized footage. If you're documenting a massive OSHA violation, shaky footage is pretty much useless. Step 2, overlay your drone and sensor data. You aren't just taking pictures, you're building a multidimensional picture of the site. And Step 3, apply a timestamp to all entries. Chronological record keeping is absolutely non-negotiable. It proves exactly when and exactly where an event occurred. Remember, you're not an artist out there. You are an objective observer building a factual timeline. Next up, Section 3, digital evidence protocols. This is all about securing the data and achieving search dominance. Just think about the vulnerability of subjective memory for a second. If you roll into a city council meeting and recount what you kind of remember seeing, you're going to be systematically dismantled and dismissed. But time-stamped visual evidence? That is ironclad. Utilizing body-worn cameras and multicam field footage guarantees that your objective truth completely overrides their institutional denial. It definitively protects the operator from liability and dismissal. No debate, just facts. But how do we actually guarantee the public sees this undeniable evidence? Well, we literally use metadata as a weapon. If you have the truth but nobody sees it, you've already lost, right? Our SEO strategy ensures our intelligence hits precise targets. Believe it or not, properly optimized metadata can index in a local municipal search within hours, completely overriding their legacy narratives. We optimize for local government and emergency management search terms. So when a resident searches for local hazards, we hijack the algorithm so our briefings appear first. By consistently anchoring our data with terms like Iron Covenant and tactical logistics, we cement a super authoritative digital footprint over the San Juan Basin. Essentially, we control the narrative by controlling the search. That brings us to Section 4, maintaining chain of custody, or building the unbreakable archive.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because this exact evidentiary chain is what separates us from the amateurs. Hour 0 is your field capture. By hour 24, you're utilizing professional nonlinear editing, like Premiere Pro, to fully sync your multicam and sensor data. By hour 48, your metadata is weaponized and ready to go. Now look at day 7, decentralized master archive. Mainstream platforms are built on sand. They can, and for sure will, delete your history with a single click. That is exactly why our master ledger lives on censorship-resistant platforms. And finally, day 30, physical cold storage. A sudden server crash or some arbitrary corporate policy change will never erase the history of this basin, because we back the whole shebang up on physical drives.
We literally render the truth in 4K. If the institutions in power simply refuse to tell the truth about what's actually happening out in the field, we are going to capture it in ultra-high definition, and we will archive it forever as an undeniable legacy.
And finally, Section 5, After-Action Reports, our method for institutional communication.
When you're translating that hard field data into action, you've got to structure your AAR as a purely educational archive. Apply a really grounded academic framework. You must maintain a strict educator's tone. We never yell, we never rant, we only teach. And this brilliantly illustrates how, by stripping away the emotion and just presenting clear, stabilized visual proof of industrial violations, we force our opposition to debate the facts rather than attack our personalities. This exact tone is what forces municipal authorities to take the Iron Covenant seriously. Because ultimately, we document the world exactly as it is, not as institutions want us to see it. You are not an activist out there. You are an information officer. Your job is to observe, record, secure, and broadcast the undeniable truth of the field.
So, I'm going to leave you with a critical question to ask yourself right before your next deployment. Are your field observations genuinely protected by an unbreakable digital archive? If the answer is no, you need to review these standard operating procedures again. Your data, your personal security, and the legacy of the Covenant all depend on it. Stay sharp out there, operators, and I'll see you in the next explainer.